Hey, I'm Nrox from Germany and today we are talking about turn-based JRPGs. Enjoy! Bravely Default 2 is a classic turn-based JRPG developed by Claytech Works and published by Square Enix. It's part of a long-running series, but most importantly, you can play this game completely standalone. Released on Switch and PC, and for me personally, one of the most enjoyable JRPG experience in recent years. Before we go deeper, one important thing about how I review games. I always judge gameplay first, story comes second, and everything else honestly matters less to me. And because of that, Bravely Default 2 works extremely well for me. One of the biggest strengths of this game is how good the entry experience is. It doesn't matter whether you're very experienced with turn-based games or whether this is your first JRPG ever. The game explains itself while you play. You don't have to constantly tap out, you don't need tutorial videos, and you don't need external guides. You can just play the game and enjoy it. No matter which difficulty you choose, Bravely Default 2 will challenge you, but in a fair way. You can lose fights, you can fail challenges, but you always understand why. And the game gives you clear tools to come back stronger. Training is simple, side quests are meaningful, and progression always feels under your control. The heart of the gameplay is the Brave and Default system. You can perform multiple actions in one turn, but you pay for that with future turns. Or you defend, store turns, and release them later in a controlled burst. This single system makes combat more dynamic, more tactical, and much more satisfying. It works perfectly for beginners and gives experienced players a lot of room for creativity. On top of character levels, every job has its own level system, from level 0 to level 12. Jobs can be finished, you consciously move on to new combinations, and you don't get lost in endless skill trees. Each character has a main job, a sub-job, active and passive abilities. The main job even determines how your stats scale with equipment. This creates depth without making the system overly complicated. Job design. Yes, these are classic JRPG jobs, and that's exactly why they work so well here. Take the Dragoon for example, one of the coolest and most iconic Final Fantasy jobs ever. The funny thing about the Dragoon is this: he's called Dragoon, clearly something with dragons. But what does that actually do? Does he kill dragons? Does he ride dragons? Protect dragons? I'm pretty sure I've seen all of that across different Final Fantasy games, sometimes even at the same time. A Dragoon protecting one dragon while they both together killing another one. And that's the point. The job never gets in the way of its own identity. It always looks cool and feels completely different from something generic like spear user. And that philosophy applies to all jobs. The White Mage is classic, but then there's the Spirit Master who also heals, but through spirits, auras, and a completely different playstyle. The Beastmaster sounds aggressive and then turns out to be a fluffy little animal lover that's charming and memorable. Even the Thief, a class I usually find boring in many JRPGs, has a real purpose here. Not just for stealing, but for damage utility and especially for collecting powerful endgame items. No job feels useless, every job has identity, and that's where the depth really comes from. The story is basic: collect crystals, save the world, that's it. And honestly, that's perfectly fine. The story never gets in the way. It's easy to follow, and most importantly, cutscenes are short. You get a bit of story and then you're right back into gameplay. If your time is limited, this is a huge advantage. Even though the game is linear in structure, it feels surprisingly free. You decide, do I continue the main story? Do I level jobs? Do I do side quests, or do I optimize my build? The game never forces you into a single path. And here's basically the only tip you need to really get started with Bravely Default 2, and from there do whatever you want. Just play the game normally for about 1.5 or 2 hours. Run through the first area, do some story, explore a bit, nothing special. And then something happens naturally. Enemies in the overworld start running away from you. That happens fairly early. In the first area there's also a small beach, and this beach is special. Only weak enemies spawn there, and very important, at night more enemies appear. So if you play at night, gather the fleeing enemies and attack them in one big chain fight, you gain massive job and character XP. For casual players, this simply means if you get stuck somewhere, come here, gain 1 or 2 job levels and continue playing comfortably. For experienced players though, there are fights in this game that you encounter very early that are way too strong for you. If you want absurd challenges, early boss kills or crazy builds, this beach becomes your preparation ground. Same mechanic, 2 completely different player types, both supported, and that's exactly why this game is so well designed. Bravely Default 2 is, for me, a very complete and honest JRPG. It's accessible but not shallow, deep but not overwhelming, and it respects your time. I'm playing it on PC via Steam, it's also available on Switch, and no matter the platform, it's just fun to play. If you want to talk about builds, jobs or crazy combinations, I run a Discord server called Late Game Lounge. It's intentionally simple, clearly structured and meant to bring people together across different games. I'll drop the link below. Thanks for watching, have fun playing and take care.